Are you thinking about getting a hamster as a pet? You're not alone. Hamsters are among the most popular small pets around the world, and for good reason. They're cute, quiet, low maintenance, and full of personality. But before you rush to the pet store, it's important to understand what it really means to care for one of these tiny creatures. In this guide, we'll walk you through everything you need to know about keeping a hamster happy and healthy, from choosing the right kind of hamster to setting up its habitat, feeding it properly, and understanding its behavior. So, whether you're a first-time pet owner or just curious about hamsters, this is your complete beginner's guide to hamster care. Is a hamster the right pet for you? Hamsters can be a great choice for those who want a small, relatively low-commitment animal companion. They're ideal for people who might not have the time or space for a cat or dog, but still want the experience of caring for a pet. Hamsters don't need walks, they don't bark, and they don't need constant attention. Yet they can still provide companionship and entertainment in their own quiet way. That said, hamsters are nocturnal, which means they're mostly active at night. If you're a light sleeper and plan on keeping your hamster's cage in your bedroom, be prepared for some late-night wheel running. Also, while hamsters are cute and often gentle, they're not the best pets for very young children. They're small and delicate, can be easily startled, and might bite if handled roughly or woken up suddenly. Hamsters can also be escape artists, squeezing through tiny spaces or chewing their way out of enclosures if they're not secure. If you're looking for a hands-off but fascinating pet and are willing to commit to a few years of care, a hamster might be the perfect match. Choosing your hamster. There are several species of hamsters commonly kept as pets, and each has its own personality and care requirements. The most well-known is the Syrian hamster, also called the golden hamster or teddy bear hamster. These are the largest of the pet hamster breeds and are known for being easy to tame and generally solitary. Then there are dwarf hamsters, smaller, more energetic, and often more sociable with their own kind. Roborovsky hamsters, Campbell's dwarf hamsters, and winter white dwarfs are all part of this group. Dwarf hamsters can be kept in pairs or small groups if introduced correctly and if their environment is suitable. But they're also more prone to speedily darting away during handling. Chinese hamsters, though technically not true dwarfs, are another small breed often kept as pets. When selecting a hamster, look for one that is alert, active, and has clean fur, bright eyes, and no signs of injury or illness. Avoid hamsters that are hunched, overly sleepy during the day, more than normal, or have any discharge around their nose or eyes. Always ask the seller or adoption center about the hamster's age and background. Setting up the perfect cage. A common mistake among new hamster owners is choosing a cage that's far too small. Pet store cages often look cute but can be dangerously cramped. A suitable cage should have a minimum of 450 square inches, around 2,900 square centimeters, of floor space, though the bigger is always better. A wire cage with a plastic base or a large glass aquarium with a secure mesh lid both work well, as long as ventilation is adequate and escape is impossible. Inside the cage, your hamster needs a thick layer of bedding, at least 15 centimeters deep, for burrowing. Use paper-based or aspen bedding, but avoid pine and cedar shavings, as these can be harmful to small animals. Your hamster will also need a hideout to sleep in, a solid surface running wheel, no wire rungs, a water bottle, a ceramic or heavy food dish, and plenty of enrichment. This can include tunnels, chew toys, climbing platforms, and nesting material. Hamsters naturally build nests and love to dig, so make sure you're providing the space and tools for those instincts. Regular spot cleaning of soiled areas is necessary, with a full bedding change every couple of weeks. What do hamsters eat? Feeding a hamster isn't as simple as tossing in a handful of seeds every day. A proper diet should be balanced and species appropriate. Most hamster owners start with a commercial pellet or lab block as a base. This ensures the hamster gets all necessary nutrients without the risk of selective eating. You can then supplement with a small portion of seed mix, along with fresh vegetables, herbs, and occasional fruit. Safe vegetables include cucumber, broccoli, carrot, and romaine lettuce. Hamsters also enjoy small bits of apple or banana, but sugary foods should be limited due to the risk of diabetes. especially in dwarf breeds, which are genetically more prone. Never feed your hamster citrus fruits, onions, garlic, or chocolate. Clean, fresh water should be available at all times, ideally from a hanging bottle with a metal spout. Treats like plain cooked egg, mealworms, or a bit of plain chicken can also be offered now and then, especially as protein sources. And always remember, any dietary changes should be made slowly to prevent digestive upset. Handling and bonding with your hamster. Bonding with a hamster takes patience, especially if they've had limited contact with humans before. Begin by simply spending time near the cage and letting your hamster get used to your scent and voice. Avoid waking your hamster during the day. Try interacting in the evening when they naturally wake up. Once your hamster seems comfortable with your presence, you can offer treats through the bars or from your hand inside the cage. When the hamster willingly comes to you, you can begin hand taming. Always scoop from below. Never grab from above, which mimics the action of a predator. Cup your hands together and let the hamster walk into them. At first, handle your hamster just a few minutes a day in a quiet, safe space with no loud noises or sudden movements. Over time, they'll likely grow more confident and may even come to enjoy your company. That said, some hamsters remain shy or prefer minimal handling, and that's okay too. The goal is to build trust, not force interaction. Understanding hamster behavior. Hamsters have their own quirky behaviors and routines that may seem odd to new owners. For instance, they're known for stuffing food into their cheek pouches and stashing it all over their cage. This is perfectly normal. Hamsters are hoarders by nature. You might also notice your hamster gnawing constantly. Their teeth grow throughout their life, so they must chew regularly to keep them filed down. Providing chew toys and natural wood pieces helps with this. Hamsters also enjoy running, sometimes obsessively, on their wheel. This is a sign of good health and high energy, so make sure the wheel is the proper size. At least 20 centimeters in diameter for dwarfs, and 28 centimeters or more for Syrians, to avoid back issues. If your hamster is biting the cage bars or acting frantic, it may be a sign of stress, boredom, or a too small enclosure. On the other hand, excessive sleeping, hunched posture, or sudden aggression could indicate illness. Always keep an eye out for behavior changes and consult a vet if something seems off. Do hamsters need companions? Unlike some other small animals, hamsters are generally solitary creatures. Syrian hamsters, in particular, must always be housed alone. Keeping two together, even siblings, can result in serious fighting or death. Dwarf hamsters, depending on the species, can sometimes cohabit peacefully in pairs or small groups if introduced properly and given enough space. Even then, fighting can still occur, and separations may be needed. If you decide to try keeping multiple dwarf hamsters, monitor them closely, provide multiple food bowls and hideouts, and be ready to separate them at the first sign of aggression. For most new owners, a single hamster is the safest and easiest option. With plenty of enrichment and daily interaction, solitary hamsters live happy, fulfilling lives. Common health issues. Hamsters are generally hardy animals, but like all pets, they can suffer from health problems. One of the most common is wet tail, a potentially fatal bacterial infection that causes severe diarrhea and lethargy, especially in young hamsters. It requires immediate veterinary care. Other possible issues include overgrown teeth, respiratory infections, mites, and tumors. Signs of illness include weight loss, sneezing, wheezing, dull eyes, inactivity, and changes in behavior or eating habits. Since hamsters are prey animals, they tend to hide illness well, so any subtle change should be taken seriously. Routine health checks, clean living conditions, and a balanced diet go a long way toward keeping your hamster in top shape. And while veterinary visits for hamsters are less frequent than for cats or dogs, finding a vet with experience in exotic animals is crucial if your pet ever gets sick. How long do hamsters live? The lifespan of a hamster varies by species. Syrian hamsters typically live between 2 to 3 years, while dwarf hamsters might live around 1.5 to 2.5 years on average. Chinese hamsters can sometimes reach up to 3 years. While that might not seem long, these little creatures can make a lasting impact in that time. With good care, regular interaction, and a loving environment, you can ensure your hamster's time with you is full of joy, comfort, and fun. It's also important to keep in mind that because hamsters have short lives, they may not be the best choice for those looking for a long-term pet. However, for those ready to cherish the moments while they last, hamsters are incredibly rewarding companions. Hamsters might be small, but their care shouldn't be underestimated. These tiny, independent creatures are full of charm and can bring a lot of joy to your home, but only if you're prepared to meet their needs. From choosing the right cage and feeding a balanced diet to handling with care and respecting their nocturnal habits, every step in hamster care matters. If you found this guide helpful, feel free to share your own hamster experiences in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.